Good morning, watch nerds. Now, San Martin have been going a while now, and to be honest, I can't remember how many of them I've owned. What I can tell you is the first one I bought was a 62 Mass Homage, but that was back in the days when I actually wore homages. I don't wear them anymore, however I don't have an issue with them. At present, I own two San Martins, both Garter style watches, and both watches I absolutely love. Now this watch comes in several iterations, so listen carefully. This is the 37.5mm version with a vortex enamel dial, and it's the SN0148 GX. It also comes in a 40mm option, and the earlier versions were described as having the radial dial. Now the case backs and hands also vary, so if you do decide you want to buy one of these, be very careful which one you buy. In my opinion, this could be San Martin's best ever dive watch, but wait until the end of this review to see what you think. And welcome to my unpaid and unsponsored review of the San Martin SN0148 GX. At the time of producing this video, these are listed on Aliexpress for £365 or $493. Although when you get to the final page of the sale, it's nearer £300. Now with vouchers and coins, no doubt, you'll get it even cheaper. However, despite what AliExpress tell you about VAT being included, from experience, it isn't. So you may want to build in import taxes, according to where you reside. Now you're going to have to make up your own minds whether you believe this is good value for money, but I believe an established high street band with these specs will cost you several times more. As far as the packaging is concerned, well, it hasn't changed for a while now, but it's okay. It's a green cylindrical case with a cushion inside and a screwdriver for the links. Oh, and a 2-year warranty. However, the screwdriver supplied doesn't actually fit the screws. As usual, let's start with the dimensions, because if they aren't right for you, you may as well stop the video now and watch something else. The case as mentioned is 37.5mm. The lug width is 20mm. The lug to lug is just under 46mm, and the depth including a sapphire crystal with AR coating is just 11.4mm. Now once adjusted to fit my 17cm wrist, it weighs in at 127 grams, which for a 200 metre diver is pretty light. Accompanied by the compact size, this makes this watch one of the most wearable dive watches you'll ever find. But it probably wears about a millimetre or so larger than the dimensions indicate. And this is my watch of the day. It's the Chronos Skyline. It's cheap as chips, but what a stunner. Inside is a Miyota 9015 automatic movement, which is by far the most popular movement in watches of this price, and there's a good reason for that. It's a 4Hz movement that ticks away at 28,800 beats per hour, hacks, hand winds, and it's got a power reserve of around 42 hours. Some people moan about a noisy unidirectional rotor, but from personal experience I've never actually noticed it when it's on the wrist. Now if regulated correctly, these can be extremely accurate, and in real life this one's running at -6 seconds a day. But let's have a look what it looks like on the time grapher. Who could ask for anything more? A perfect beat error, a good amplitude for this particular movement, and look at that rate. The 6mm signed screw down crown is nicely knurled and operates the watch without issue. Winding is light and easy, and although the engagement is good, it's not buttery smooth. I have this bracelet and clasp on my SN0144, and uphold they're amongst the best you'll see on any watch at any price, and that genuinely isn't an exaggeration. I would describe it as a brush chain link jubilee, if there is such a thing. All the edges are chamfered, which makes it incredibly comfortable. It tapers down from 20mm to 16mm, then up to 17mm for the clasp. Now needless to say, the end links are solid, and they're also female, meaning the bracelet wraps nicely around the wrist. As you would expect on any San Martin watch, it's got screw links for adjustment. But in this particular case, it doesn't have quick release spring bars. That said, you'll want to flip this bracelet. The on the fly adjustable clasp is dual layered, brushed with polished chamfers, It's fully milled and it's signed with a San Martin hex. Once again, this bracelet and clasp combination are absolutely fantastic. At the point of making this video, the watch comes in 4 different colours. This is the blue one, although I think the centre of the dial could probably be described as turquoise. It also comes in green and orange and black. Whilst this isn't a direct homage to any watch, it's a tad generic, but I suppose dive watches are built to serve a purpose, and this is very legible. Now there's a minute track on the outer part of the dial, then we move on to the chrome surrounded indices, but of course with the exception to the 12, 6 and 9 which are batons. At the 3 o'clock we've got a colour matched and framed date window. However, I would have liked it to be at the 6, but I suppose you can't have everything. Mounted on this vortex graduated dial was the San Martin hex under the 12 o'clock, and printed above the 6 o'clock are the words automatic and the 200 metres water resistance. Now the rounded arrow type hands and the indices are filled with bags of BGW9X1 lume, which last pretty much all night. But that's what you always expect from a San Martin watch, I suppose. Now here's a picture of that lume. This lume bezel is superb. It's got a ceramic insert, the action and the resistance are excellent, there's no back play or bounce, and it all lines up well, although I'm not convinced that it's not a micro tad to the left. But that's my OCD for you. Anyway, let's have a little listen. The case, as you would expect, is beautifully finished, albeit quite simple, and it resembles the case of a Tudor Black Bay. Now the tops of the lugs are vertically brushed, whilst the sides are horizontally brushed, which from a personal point of view is just about perfect. Now the only polishing is a transition between the two. It's nicely shaped, and the relatively short lug to lug means it fits really well to the back of the wrist. The case back is one of my few criticisms. Unfortunately, San Martin have left it plain, and to remove it you need one of those Rolex type tools, or if you're lucky you can loosen it with one of those rubber ball things. It's a real shame that they got this aspect of the watch wrong. So what do I think of the San Martin SN0148 GX? Let me tell you what first appealed to me. It isn't a lovely dial, the excellent movement, or the fantastic bracelet and clasp. It was actually the dimensions. Now I wear dive watches up to 40mm, however my sweet spot is around the 38mm mark, and it amazes me there aren't more dive watches produced in this size. Now this is the type of dive watch someone could wear as a garter, which in my opinion is quite rare. That doesn't mean you can't wear watches as and when you want, but a true garter suits pretty much any occasion. Like I said earlier, this could most certainly be one of San Martin's best ever dive watches, if not the best. It's just a shame about that bloody case back. That brings me to the end of this review, so if you've enjoyed it, click on the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, especially as my subscribership is really crap, leave your comments below and enjoy the rest of your day.